Hi everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thank you for joining me on my channel today. I'm glad you could tune in. Today I wanted to show you a quick study on how I do little drawings to incorporate into junk journals, especially botanicals. I do love to put some little hand-drawn items into journals. I find it gives them a nice little warmth and a personal touch. So today I wanted to show you how to do a poppy. We'll be using some book pages, any kind of book pages will do, and some Prismacolor markers. Now these markers are a bit high-end markers and I've had them for years, so some of them are really dried out. But you can use any marker. Essentially you want something that's going to bleed into the paper. So these are alcohol-based markers. Like I said, I've had them for a long time, so this crimson red, for example, is very dry. You're going to see me pushing on it really hard just to get some of the ink out. But you can use any marker you like. And the idea behind it is to decorate some pages for your junk journal. Let me just back out here a little bit. So here's an example here of a big pocket that I made and a little envelope closure with the little insert on the side. And all I did was decorate and draw on the paper, inked it, and then glued it in. And I find it gives it a nice, real personal, warm touch to a journal when you draw your own little items. And it also, sometimes you can't find the paper you're looking for, so you have to kind of make your own. So here's some more drawings of poppies here on this really big sheet of paper, which I love. So we're gonna do one right here, and I hope you can see it. Maybe zoom in a little more. I'm hoping my, my hand isn't in the way. So I've got a little pen here, and I don't stress too much about how to draw the poppy. If you have a sample of a poppy in front of you or a picture of one, you can either trace it or do your best to follow it. But poppies are pretty simplified shapes. They have a center, and then they have, depending on the kind of poppy, they have 4 leaves or several more leaves. So I like to just do the 4-leaf poppy. So what I like to do is I basically do a triangle like this, and I'm hoping you can see me draw. So it's kind of a loopy triangle. It's not a perfect triangle, but I want to soften the edges of the triangle. It kind of creates the illusion of a leaf. And then I'm going to do a leaf in the back, and I just kind of wiggle my pen to give it that frayed edge. And then I'm going to give it another frayed edge back here and loop it back. So I have 1, 2, 3, and now I'm going to do my 4th one. And I'm just going to tuck that in like that. So in order to create a little bit more realistic illusion, I'm going to just double over on this one here. And what it does is it kind of gives the illusion that the petal has folded over on itself and kind of curled in. And then we have the center here, which we'll color in after. And then what I like to do is draw a light line going through my petal and then down like this, and that way I know the stem is perfectly centered. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is grab some red. So this one is poppy red, ironically. And so what I'll do is I'll list all the colors that I'm using down into the description box. So as I'm coloring this in, you'll notice I'm moving away from the center, and what that's doing is it's kind of, I want to keep the form of the petals. So I want to color it in the shape that they will grow. So if I go straight up and down like this, it kind of ruins the illusion of how a poppy's petals look. So I want to just keep pulling the color away from the center. And you can see I'm not worried about going outside the lines. I'm not a perfectionist by any means, but for those of you who would go nuts with it outside the lines, just take your time and color it in even. Here is the yellow orange, and I like to just do the edge of the poppy with this. With a light would capture the very light ends, thin, delicate, papery edges of the poppy. Okay. Then I'm going to take my crimson red, which I said is really dry, so I'm going to be pushing on it quite hard, but for those of you who have fresh markers, you won't need to push as hard. And again, staying in and out, working with the direction in which the poppy would grow, all these petals. My poor markers, they're so old, had them forever. All right, So I'm going to kind of let that evaporate a little bit, and you'll see it will kind of continue to bleed a little. So I'm going to now go into my green. So this one is a apple green, and I'm going to give it its stem. And then I'm going to go into a lime peel. And I'm going to just give it another line with that stem. And what's nice about these markers is as they go layer on top of each other, they create new colors. They absorb each other. They're not like paint where they sit on top of each other. They actually absorb colors and change colors. So the last color I use, other than black, is this Tuscan red. And you can see it's got a kind of a purpley tinge to it. What I like to do with this color is help separate and divide these petals. So if I see that this petal looks like it's behind, what I'll do is I'll put the dark color in the back of that one. So you see this petal tucks behind this petal. So I'm going to put that there. And you'll see as you're drawing and coloring how this neat effect of where you put these darker shades really pop petals in front of each other and give it that more of a three-dimensional image. So this petal goes in front of this petal, so I don't want to darken here. I want to keep this bright. And now this one's in front of this one, so I'm going to tuck the darker color back here. I'm going to put a little indication of lines here just to help kind of build that texture that a poppy would have. Maybe a little bit up here. Again, not being perfect. Doesn't matter if it goes outside the lines or not to me. Okay, so I want to make this, oops, sorry, bang the camera. I want to make this a little bit more red, so I'm going to go back over with my poppy red and just push some more color of red in there. So you can intensify the colors by layering them. Again, following my routine here. So there we go. There's the poppy. So now I want to put the center in. So I'm going to use some black, and this one's quite dry as well. So I have to push pretty hard on this one. So I'm going to rub a little bit in there, and then I'm going to dab because it has those poppy little, I can't remember what the center of a flower is called, but this one has lots of little seeds in there, poppy seeds. And then I add just a touch of black at the bottom of the stem where it touches the flower, because I like to kind of push the stem back. So there's a quick sketch of a poppy, and I want to show you one more sketch. So again, it can be intimidating to draw, but once you get some practice in, it's quite easy. So this will bleed through, as you can see. So I'm just going to move this paper out of the way and show you on a scrap piece. So I'm going to find my pen, which has disappeared. Oh, I have lost my pen. Okay, so I'll use a pencil. So let's do the center of a poppy. Now we're looking straight down at the poppy. So I'm going to do the center. I'm going to do one petal. I'm going to do another petal. So you see, none of the lines are straight. They all wiggle. Another petal. We'll do another petal. So let's do 4 again. I'm going to start with my poppy red and the same process. I'm just going to pull it out. So you can see this paper absorbs a lot more ink. So when we do that, the color will be much more saturated. So the older the paper, I think, the more absorption it has. All right, again, just filling it in, working from the center out. I'm going to work with the orange now. Pull that right to the edge. Again, I'm not worried too much about the lines. Has that kind of hand-drawn feel to it. And it's a great way to use up all these scrap pieces of paper. I'm going to use the crimson red now, which is the one that's really dry for me. So you can see I'm scrubbing. You wouldn't need to do that. You have some good markers kicking around. Just keep coloring it in. Okay, I'm going to go to my Tuscan red. So this petal, you can see, sits in front of this one and in front of that one. So I'm going to put the dark behind, and you're going to see how neat it is when it pulls these colors. It kind of assembles how the poppy leaves lay in each other. So this one is behind, so I'm going to pull the dark color here. Now this one sits in front of this one, so I'm going to now leave this part light and put the darker color behind. So can you see how suddenly this one sits in front of this one sits behind this one, and it really does give that depth and that illusion of layered petals, which is what we're after. So I'm now going to dab the black in the center, and I just poke at it. And I think in this one we'll put some green in the center, just a little bit of green. So I went with the apple green on that. And for this, we can do some leaves. So we're looking down, so we can pretend there's some leaves coming out. And they have these very spiky, even though they look like they hurt you, they're very spiky looking. They're very soft leaves, actually. And I just kind of wiggle and really just kind of squiggle the line to a point, squiggle it back down to the flower. Squiggle the line to a point, squiggle it back down to the flower. And then I'm going to color this in green. And you can see too, as the colors start to evaporate, the flower gets a little bit darker. And I'm going to go into my peel, lime peel here, just for a variation of green. And then I'm just going to add a touch of black to the leaves. So I'm just going to do a little bit of veining here. My black is really dry as well. I use that one a lot. So I want to maybe darken this part of the leaf up a little bit because it's sitting behind the petals. So if I go over again with the green, like I said, they change color as they layer on each other. You can see it gets a little bit darker. And I hope you guys can see the detail here. So that's it. That's my little tutorial today. I hope it kind of gave you some ideas on how to do sketching, and there's lots of YouTube videos on how to draw flowers. And like anything, the more practice you do, the better you get at it. And I think it adds some real nice charm to journals. So if you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. I'll be doing some more tutorials on sketches, watercolors, junk journals, and things like that. Have a great day, guys. Bye.